Hello, welcome to another class with Mathemasoft, and this is modular arithmetic. And we have a request on modular arithmetic questions, and these are the questions we'll deal with in this video. But before we go straight to the solution to this problem, let's first run through some background knowledge that you have to have in modular arithmetic. So when you have this mode, we usually call it modulo, okay, or we call it modulus. So for example, if you have 48 mod 5, now what is the interpretation of this means that what will be the remainder when 48 is divided by 5. So that is how you can easily interpret this. So 48, we pronounce this as 48 mod 5. Now 48 mod 5, because we don't want to pronounce modulo or modulus in full. So we pronounce that 48 mod 5. What it actually means is 48 modulus 5. And the interpretation of this in a simple terms is what will be the remainder when 48 is divided by 5. So let's try to practicalize that. That means that we can write this as 48 divided by 5, and then we know that we are going to get 9 remainder 3. Okay, so how do we write our answer now? So we say 48 mod 5, since this is our remainder, and the question simply means what will be the remainder when 48 is divided by 5. So we write it as the answer will be what? 3, because that's what will be the remainder. But we indicate that what we have done is actually in mode 5. So in other words, 48 mode 5 equals 3 mode 5. Now, another thing I want you to take note is that 48, okay, can be called dividend. Okay, these are dividend, and our 5 here, we can refer to it. That's if we are talking about division property, this is called divisor. This is divisor. So equals 9. This 9 that we got here can be given the name quotient. Okay, so it means quotient, and this our 3 obviously is called remainder. So our 3 is actually remainder 3. Now what you will notice is that our remainder is usually less than the divisor. That's another thing I want you to take note. The remainder must always be less than divisor. In other words, when you are working in mode 5, the answer you will have here must be less than 5. If we have 8 here, mode 5, so definitely we have not gotten to the final stage. We have to still what? Divide this 8 by 5, and we know if we divide 8 by 5, we are going to get remainder 3. That will be 1 remainder 3. So that remainder 3 will be our answer. So what I'm explaining is that your answer must always be less than the modulus you are working on. Now, having laid this foundation, then we can now make a general statement. Now, what happens when the number here is actually what? Negative. Now, the number here is negative, and we know that in modular arithmetic, our answer must not be left in negative. So what we simply have to do here is to add a multiple of 3, a multiples of 3 that will make this number here to be positive. A multiples of 3 that will make this number here to be positive. You can start adding from 3, you add another 3, you add another 3, you add another 3, but we know that that will be strenuous. So you can simply just pick the closest multiples of 3 that can turn this minus 28 to a positive number. And then we compare. If what we get is less than our modulus, then that will make it our final answer. If it's more than our modulus, then we have to divide until we get a simpler number. Don't forget, the question says find the simplest positive form of each of the following. So the simplest means that what the smallest positive number that we may get, simplifying this. So let's do that now. Let's treat these questions now. I'm going to carve out the question. Okay, I'm going to carve out the question so that we can deal with it together now. So we have this. Let's copy it. I've copied that. And then let's paste it and then we solve the problem now. So we have our number 1. So obviously we can actually deal with it together now. Our number 1 is minus 28 mod 3. So I can turn this to be minus 28. So thinking about multiples of 3, that is number that is actually a multiple of 3 that can, that is the closest to minus 28 or 28 as a number that can turn it to a positive number. So I'm going to use 30. 30 is that multiples of 3, okay, that is closest to what 28. So I'm working with this modulo 3, and then our answer will be minus 28 plus 30 will give me 2 modulo mod 3. And because this 2 is less than these are modulus, so that will be our final answer. Number 2, minus 52, and then I have mod 11. What is that multiples of 11 closest to 52 that can turn minus 52 to a positive number? What I will be using is actually 55. 55 is a multiples of 11 that is the closest to, if I'd use 44, of course the number that I will get will still be negative. So 55 is that number I can actually use that will turn minus 52 to a positive number. And then I'm working in mode 11. So I can say minus 52 plus 55 will give me 3 mode 11. And because this 3 is less than 11, of course, that is my final answer. So number 3, minus 17 mode 2. So what is that multiples of 2 I can actually add to minus 17 to make it a positive number, that is the simplest or a smallest positive number. So 18 is that number. If you had 16, so you can see that this will give you minus 1 still. So that's why we cannot use 16. We have to use that number that is next to 17, that multiples of 2 that is next or immediately after 17, which is actually 18. And then I'm working in mode 2. So this will give me 1 mode 2. So this will be my final answer. So number 4, I have minus 2 mode 9. Minus 2 mode 9. So what is that multiples of 9 I can add to minus 2 to make it an immediate what positive number? So obviously I can use 9 itself, okay, because 9 is actually the first multiple of 9, okay. So I can use 9 mode 9. So if I do this, this will give me 7 mode 9. So, and because 7 is less than our mode here, so that will be my final answer. So number 5, I have minus 5, okay, mode 6. So immediate number I can actually add to this, which is a multiple of 6, is actually 6 itself, okay. That will be mode 6. So obviously this will give me 1 mode 6, okay. See, this is the simplest positive value I can get. So they are not asking us to actually get more than one value. So, and they're asking us to actually deal with the simplest value. So that's why we have to get immediate positive multiples of our modulus is what you have to add. What happens if you had a bigger, let's say for example this number 5, instead of me to add 6, let's say I had 12, which is the multiple of 6 also. Let's say it is 12 that I had. So let's see what this will actually result to. Of course, I will just be having a double work. This will give me 7, okay, and that will be mode 6. But you can see 7 is greater than what? Our mode, which should not actually be. The remainder should always be less than the divisor. So that means that I have to divide again by 6. So 7 modulo 6 means that when you divide 7 by 6, what will be the remainder? So obviously, if I do that, that will give me remainder 1, okay, and that will be mode 6. So you can see that I will resort to the same answer that I got here. So this will just be a longer step, while this one is just what? A shorter what? Step. So I will still do the work again. So if you can actually use the smallest multiples that you can actually add, that will give you that answer straight up. So you should actually what? Do that. So thank you very much, and thank you for sending this question. I hope many people will benefit from it. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that anytime I drop a video, you can always be notified. Thank you. Bye.